Yeah, so from 0 to 1800, a more casual styled tier list, and what I believe is going to happen in season 4 is what I was thinking, and going to rank everything from the easiest to hardest. S tier is going to be the easiest and F going to be hardest or worst. And I would love to hear what you guys think as well. It's lovely to be able to discuss if you agree or disagree or whatever. I mean, it's just nice to discuss what we believe is going to happen in the next season. First off, we do have the Affliction Warlock. I think that Affliction overall is kind of a hard spec for newer players, since the playstyle is very demanding and the kiting that's necessary on Affliction lock is very hard if you are not used to playing that kind of playstyle. And I think that in solo shuffle, Affliction is having a hard time already. So yeah, there's a lot of things to keep track of, and it's very easy to get trained super hard when you're playing Affliction. And I do believe that the same thing will go for Arcane Mage, to be honest. Arcane Mage is the same thing. It's a very, very good spec, but it's very hard to master. And you are, it's just hard when you only have one school as well, only Arcane. There is nothing else. So I think that Arcane is very hard for newer players to get into, especially if you are just starting off going 0 to 1800 or whatever you want to do. But yeah, so the two hard casters. Then we have Arms Warrior. What do we think about Arms Warrior? They are going to change the tier set as well, so they will be more single target focused next season, is what I understand. So I think that I'm gonna go for, I think Arms Warrior is going to be kind of decent. I mean, the playstyle is kind of simple. I actually think it's gonna be an A on Arms Warrior. I think the playstyle is very easy, straightforward. You don't have too many buttons to consider, and I think it's fairly easy to get into Arms Warrior compared to like Affliction and Arcane Mage. Then we do have Assassination Rogue. I think out of all the rogue specs, I think Assa is going to be the easiest one to play, but I still do believe that for new players it's going to be B. I think it's easier to get into Assassination than Affliction or Arcane, but it's harder than Warrior, that's for sure. Arms made it to the right spot, yeah, that's good. The tanks I'm not even going to rank, actually. We are not doing tanks this time. Fistweaver S tier. Do you think it is? Isn't Fistweaving kind of hard to get into? No, maybe not. Yeah. But yeah, Beam Hunter. Beam Hunter is for sure one of the easiest specs to get into to enter PvP and solo shuffle, I would say. It's very straightforward, and you have your turtle, you have your heal. Yeah, I mean, it's just overall very easy to play BM Hunter. Boomy. What do we think? Boomkin is kind of, it's very straightforward to play Boomkin as well. Just keep your dots up. Yeah, the hard thing with Boomkin is to survive and get your cyclones off as well. Very important. So I do actually believe that I want to put Boomkin up with the Warrior, actually. I think that you can just get you can get into Boomkin pretty fast. Oh, that's another tank. Yeah, that's what I believe, at least. And then we have Demo Lock. I do actually believe that Demo Lock is also going up here with the BM Hunter. No, I think we're gonna do that. It's hard. Demo Lock and Destro Lock are like they are very easy casters to get into, and yeah, but you are tankier with demo for sure. So, and you have more pets that's gonna do the work for you. So yeah, I think they are one of the easiest casters to get into. And Destro is going to be up here with the Boomkin, I think. Even if we're going back to previous tier set, I do believe that it's still a pretty easy caster to play, and you do big damage, and you are having a lot of survivability for being a caster. Like your defensives are super strong. So that's what I do believe. And then for the Disc Priest, I think Disc Priest is very hard to to manage sometimes, to especially if you're new to healing. It's very hard managing doing damage and healing, and you don't really have any CCs more than your fear. I think I'm gonna have to put Disc down here with, yeah, it's a B tier healer. I think it is kind of hard to get into, and just managing your proactive shielding, and yeah, it's just a lot of work. Disc is god tier, yeah, but that's for 2, so I'm talking about solo shuffle right now. In solo shuffle, Disc Priest is not that good. It's a lot harder in 3s and solo shuffle, that's for sure. In 2s, yes, it's a lot easier because you are able to do some big damage as well. But I think that in solo shuffle and next season as well, I do believe it. And especially from 0 to 1800 for a casual player, I believe that Disc Priest is kind of hard to get into. But I see your point, yeah. I mean, in 2s, they are super strong right now. No doubt about that. And then we have Ellie Shaman. What do we think about Ellie Shaman? It's also a very... I do believe Shamans overall, like, they're not getting the best of luck, and I do think Elemental it's hard. It's harder than Destro. It's very much instant casting all the time, for sure, but I think it's harder to survive, and you have your totems and everything to keep track of, and that you don't have that with Destro. So I think that's fair. It's a B tier. And the same for Enhancement Shaman. Enhancement Shaman is definitely going to be B tier, is what I believe. It's very hard. They are so squishy and so very much RNG based all the time. It's tough. And then we have Feral, D tier. I think Feral is actually one of the hardest melees to play right now. And it's going to be the same thing in Season 4. That's absolutely what I believe. It's Feral really needs a lot of attention. It's so much fun. I wish that Feral was easier sometimes, like it was back in the days. It's always been hard to play Feral, but it's so much fun when you play Feral. I enjoyed it so much when I played Feral the last season. It's only this season I haven't done it, but I still do believe it's one of the absolute hardest melees to get into. There is so much things going on all the time, and you need to keep track of so many things. Fire Mage. I think it's easier than Arcane, but yeah, it's absolutely harder than the other specs, yeah. Fire is just very squishy, and I think that, yeah, next season I think they're gonna be better than they are right now. You're gonna have a lot more consistent damage, and your rotation is going to feel better with the tier set because of the free Phoenix, but I have a hard time seeing it being like S tier. Frost Mage is easier than... Yeah, I think it's also a B tier. It is hard to manage. Now, even if you're not going to be depending, like your damage is not only going to be Ray of Frost and your Glacial next season, I still think it's... Mage is hard to manage with the blinks and kiting, yeah. But I think Frost is absolutely the easiest one of all the mage specs, for sure. And then we got another class that actually never ever gets love from Blizzard for some reason. Frost DK. They are totally going down here. They are still gonna be kind of pretty much the same. I don't see them being more consistent or easier in any way. It's very squishy, and you have your one-shot gimmicky thing, and that's pretty much all you have. We actually have one spec that I do believe is gonna change a lot and gonna be way better in solo shuffle, and that's Fury Warrior. And I actually do believe that Fury Warrior is going S tier. I think that Season 4 Fury Warrior is gonna do crazy big damage and going to be freaking good in solo shuffle. Arms is gonna do big damage. I mean, Fury is probably easier to survive and manage your damage on than Arms, but I think Arms is gonna do more damage. Arms is going to do big one-shots, I think. And then we have the legendary, never-changing Demon Hunters. They are absolutely S tier when you are getting into solo shuffle. God tier class getting into PvP overall, for sure. Same for PvE. Oh yeah. Yeah, Demon Hunter is just gods. That's it's crazy. I really don't see anything changing there at all. Holy Priest is absolutely going to be a A tier healer, I think. It's a lot easier than Disc Priest, and way more straightforward healing output. Then we have Holy Paladin. They are getting buffed. Holy Paladin is getting a big buff going back to previous tier set. So I do believe that they are going to be A tier healer for sure. You're going to have a lot more fluid healing and just more consistent overall with your Holy Prism and Holy Shocks in a... Yeah, it is going to be good. That's for sure. Critting your Holy Shocks all the time and getting healing from that. So you're going to be able to put out more damage as well than what you have been doing right now. And I think it's a good healer to start with if you are getting into PvP for healing. Hunter. Yeah. That's hard. I mean, Hunter is also very good. That's absolutely up on A tier with Arms Warrior. It's a little bit harder to get into than BM, I think, but the burst you can do with is crazy. Mistweaver. I think Mistweaver is going for B tier healer. So I think Mistweaver is going to be harder. That's for sure. It's harder than Holy Priest and Holy Paladin. Outlaw Rogue is also very hard. It's hard to manage the all the things you need to keep track of, and I think that's hard. C tier probably, as how hard it is to play. It's very good if you get good at it, but it's hard to get into. Resto Druid. Resto Druid is super good. It's really good. But I think it's hard to get into as a new player. But it's better than Disc Priest as well. But yeah, it's going for B. Like keeping track of your hots and everything. And I think that's hard to... you have to be very proactive when you play Druid all the time. And always be ahead with your healing. Resto Shaman is going down to C tier. They are having... they're not gonna be good at all for solo shuffle. I think they're gonna be the worst healer actually. Ret is also a really good melee to get into for solo shuffle. Ret is crazy good, and as a new player I think you're gonna have a good time on Ret as well. They are really good, and you have a lot of safety net with your bubbles and everything. Shadow Priest is not going to be having a good time. They're also going back to the previous tier set that's good for PvE and not for PvP. So I think you're gonna... Shadow Priest, I don't think we're gonna see a lot of them. I think we are gonna see way less of them. Sub-Rogue is very difficult to get into as well. Super hard spec to get into, way harder than Assassination. And also harder than Outlaw, I think. Big control if you get good at Sub-Rogue, then you are... It's insane when you get really good at it, but it's so hard to get into. Same thing for Survival Hunter is actually really good, but it's very hard to manage the damage and how to do DPS and when to do what. It's way too much to keep track of compared to the other Hunter specs. Unholy DK. I don't think they're gonna change very much. I think they're kind of average and not... The only hard thing with DK overall is the squishiness, but I do believe that it's kind of a B tier class to get into, or spec, and the damage is very average, I do believe, compared to the other we have up in S tier. And Windwalker, they are going to be insanely scary. They are gonna do the most insane Fist of Furies and Rising Sun kicks ever. That's just so scary. So yeah, I'm actually putting... I do believe that Windwalker Monk is going to be S. I just realized that we are missing Evoker. Evoker. Enjoy hearing your thoughts about the classes. You're very knowledgeable about the game. Thank you. It's nice to just discuss it. It's good for me as well to just think it through and in what way they are hard and easy and how good they are gonna be. And it's nice to go back and take a look at it. Ranking is pretty neat, I agree. Oh, nice. I love to hear that. The only thing we're missing is Evoker, and I do think that Press Evoker is going to be a B healer, and Augmentation is actually also going to be B. And I do believe that Devastation is an A because of the damage. And you also have good ways of self-healing and everything with Devastation. But I absolutely do believe that next tier list we're gonna have them added for sure. But I do believe that Preservation is getting a big buff going back to previous tier set. And that's lovely. And this is ranked from how hard they are to play, how much damage and utility you have, how hard they are to get into for a casual player for next season in solo shuffle. Is there any class that you think should be lowered or should be S tier that is not S tier right now, because otherwise I think this is pretty much what I believe is going to be good and easy and most damage and best utility for getting into PvP next season. Pretty good list. Yeah, thank you. That's nice to hear. I have based it around the new tier sets that we're getting and the changes that's coming. So this is what I believe is going to be the easiest for casual players to play and the best as well for PvP solo shuffle. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see, because I'm going to go back to look at this tier list later as well with you guys to see if anything changed or what we actually if this was kind of accurate in any way at all. I think that's nice to go back and look at, like, because I play every class. I'm not maining every class. I'm just trying to get to know as much as I possibly can about all the different classes and specs. But yeah, I think we kind of happy with the tier list right now. I believe that it's good.